Hi, and welcome back to the HCCTV Student Lounge. This is a show done by HCC students for HCC students to give our opinions in news, entertainment, and what's going on in our school. My name is Kyle. Hi, Carolina. How are you today?
Hi, Kaya. I'm good. Thank you. We're also joined today by Benjamin, Josh, Andres, and Eric. And we will also be joined by our guest, Trustee Xavier Herrera and Dr. Christina Robinson, who are here to talk about how to move forward with your career during COVID-19. But first, let's move into our top 3 news of the week. Now, Microsoft Teams has just declared a battle with Zoom with stellar new features and a focus that could tempt businesses users to switch. Have you used this platform, Kyle?
Well, as you can see, we use Zoom a lot. I used Microsoft a long time ago, and yeah, I'm down to give it a try and see which one is the best.
Yeah, I use it for school and for work. We do Zoom mostly here. But Microsoft Teams has already launched a bunch of stunning new features. One over the few months as it looks to challenge Zoom in the video conferences market. This week, Teams has launched some previously announced features as part of the offering called Advanced Communications. Now, the University of Houston will limit a stadium capacity to 25% for football games. The reduced capacity will give fans the room needed to socially distance at home games. What do you think about that, Kyle?
I mean, it is what it is for the safety of people, so we gotta live with that.
It is. I've been there, and it's going to be very different to not feel that energy with this reduced capacity, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Now, government Greg Abbott said Friday that Elon Musk closed to build Tesla's next U.S. factory in Texas, partly because the state offers more freedom than places such as California. He wanted to get into a state where he had more freedom, where he could expand the way he wanted, and he has a remarkable vision that goes far beyond for this one announcement, said the Republican on CNBC. What do you think about that?
I think that's great for Texas. We have a lot of space. It's different from California that everything's crowded. So we have a lot of land here, can do like a huge factory. And it's great for the people too, more jobs for us. So I think this is going to be great for Texas.
Yeah, like they say, everything's bigger in Texas. Now, there's a lot of great students that are going to get those jobs over there. So we're going to get closer to these big companies. That's good too. Now, let's begin our first topic, which makes a way into a great discussion. Is now the best time to go to college? Some students take a break right after high school and promise to go back to college. Does that really work or not? Because some doubt and they start making their lives and everything, and then it's so much difficult to go back to school. What do you think, Kaya?
Well, I think there's 2 different thoughts for the fact of you stopping, before you actually go into school. First, you're not quite sure what you want to do. We actually have a guest, Jonathan. I don't know if you remember that he took some time off, 6 months. And that was a time that he needed to figure out what he was going to do for his life, So some people do that. Other people, they do because they're lazy. They want to take a vacation pretty much for 6 months. And they also want to work. So they say, you know what, I'm going to take this 6 months and start working. But usually what happens is the person start working, start making some money, usually like minimum wage, like $10 an hour. And when you just got out of high school, sometimes you don't need to pay for your bills and you make $10 an hour, that's a lot of money for you, So you don't really think about the future. I should go to college or I should, invest a little bit more time in myself so I can make more money in the future than just happy to be making $10 an hour. So sometimes it can be tough, and I think that everybody should really reflect about it because at some point you're going to need more money than that. It's really hard to live with minimum wage. At some point you're going to have kids, wife, most case, not everybody's like that, but most case. So I think you should always have in consideration your future and what you're going to do next. And in that note too, it's important to find your passion. I always like photography and video, and I was like, I want to do that. I was scared because it's not a stable job. But I believe that once you have passion for what you do and you invest a lot of time, you can definitely make money. You just got to put a lot of effort, hard work, study a lot. But if you really want to, you're going to achieve. And that's my thoughts when it comes to that. And I do believe that now it's a great time to be in school, especially because a lot of people don't have a job. And for example, HCC, we're offering a lot of scholarships. So, if you're home and, you don't have a job, maybe now's the time to work on your future. Take the time that you have off right now. There's a lot of online classes. You don't even need to go to the campus, so you're saving gas, so you just need to sit down in front of the computer and learn. And I think that's great, and I think that's a good time to start doing that, enjoy the virtual world. But I'd like to know what Benjamin has to say about that.
So yeah, Kyle, what I was thinking too about school, a lot of people right now with this pandemic got laid off. So this has given some people maybe like an opportunity to like, hey, let me look into maybe building a whole new career. Maybe I thought this was a job for me, but hey, let me give a chance of something that I'm really passionate about. Because let's face it, some of us have jobs that we're not really happy with. This is just a job to make us money, but are we passionate about it? Maybe not. If you are, man, all props to you. But some people are not. So how about let's go back to school? Let's get that job that we always wanted, something that we always dreamt about since we were kids. I want to be an accountant. I want to be doing filmmaking. I want to be doing something, an engineer. Tesla, like we were just talking about. Tesla has that new plant that they're going to build in Austin. They're going to be looking for engineers to build these batteries, to build these cars, the Cybertruck. Maybe later on when I get money with the job that I'm trying to get, maybe I'll get one of those Cybertrucks. But I mean, this is something that a lot of people should look into. Right now, with especially being like staying at home more than usual. Take those online classes, you don't even have to go into a campus. You could just build a career just by doing that. So that's my view on it.
And you, Josh, do you have anything that you would like to share with us?
Some people are going back to school now, and I think that can be beneficial. But even if you're not, I think it's very important right now that you be working on other skills that could help you find a job later down in your career. Because right now, for my example, I work with HCC part-time, and I can't find full-time work because no one's hiring right now. So I've been trying to just improve my skills in many different areas because that'll help me down the line when everything does open.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, as you said, not necessarily just, being in school, but for example, summer, it's a great time to sit down. And that's how I learned photography. I went to YouTube tutorials, and that's what I found my passion, because I started learning and studying. It's like, wow, this is actually pretty interesting. I want to do that. So sometimes, it's good to just sit down and search, take advantage of the time that you're home. I know it's tough to be home all the time, but, take advantage of it, because we always complain that we don't have time, that we're never home. So now we have both. So take advantage of that.
I totally agree with you. And also, if you guys have anything to tell us about that topic, is it difficult with COVID-19? Should you push forward on this or put on hold your career? Let us know. Now, let's move on into our special guest, Caio. Who do you have for today?
Today, I have Xavier Herrera, and he's a Fort Bend County Public Information Officer and on the Board of Trustees for Stafford MSD. So I would like to talk to him since we're discussing about careers and planning and all that. I would like to hear from him what his thoughts about career planning and how is that important for students.
Thank you very much for having me on today. So career planning is definitely important. I go ahead and segue our students in public education to higher education. Obviously, I send a good amount of our students your way to the Houston Community College. It's always beneficial to have something in mind of what they want to do in the future. The beauty of Stafford and Stafford Municipal School District is that besides talking to your counselors and hearing out from your teachers, we have what's called the College and Career Center. And the Academy holds 12 career paths. So anything ranging from agriculture, natural resources, to transportation, distribution, logistics, marketing, sales, law, public safety. We have all of that in place. So we allow and afford a student to go ahead and get a general understanding of the field. Or if they feel like they're not apt to go ahead, or they don't want to go to a four-year quintessential university, and we're able to go ahead and in partnership with HCC teach them a trade, such as welding, auto mechanics, and things of that nature. So they can literally come out of our campuses with a certificate, and they can make some pretty substantial amount of money, between $30,000 to $60,000, depending on what they want to do as a welder. My goodness, a person can come from Stafford MSD, go to HCC, and welders, they can make up to 6 figures. So that's definitely a good and lucrative way to go ahead and make a living. So we try our best to go ahead and make sure that every one of our students coming out find a career path that's best for them.
Yeah, that's cool. So if a student comes to you and say, like, I don't know what I want to do you guys help him, like, based on their skills or maybe what they wish or desire? Say, hey, we have a task here that you can do to try to make you figure out what you want to do. Like, do you guys also do that, or you usually just help people that already know what they want to do?
No. For us high school students, and I know each and every one of y'all had attended a high school at one point in time in your past there. You tend not to have an idea of what you want to do in the future. While there are those that, it's a small segment, but while there are those that are out there that know what they want to do, the masses, the general public, general student body, at least for us, don't. So that's where a collaboration between our counselors, the parents, teachers, and our college and career center kind of come into play. A student may feel that they're good for one particular career path, but then once they kind of start learning about it, you know what, maybe it's not for me. So that's a great thing. Also helps them save money when they're over at the college level and they're studying. They ought not to go ahead and do that, right? So that's a waste of money and waste of time. So we do our very best, and once we get our students, grounded and geared towards a path, while visiting with them, planning with them, they're a lot more productive in the college realm. So that's what we're trying to always do.
That's interesting. Yeah, I feel like that's what you described. A lot of students, I had this problem when I was in high school. It's like, what do I want to do? And it's really important. It's really good when you have someone to give you some sort of guidance and show you the path and the way and tell, listen, this is not forever. Just because you're choosing that now doesn't mean that you need to stick to it, And as we're talking about, it's important to find your passion and actually enjoy something. Because another thing too that I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of people, they want to do a specific career because of the money. Like, they see how much they make a year. Say, no, I'm going to be an engineer. I have so many friends, they did an engineer just because of the money. Like, they didn't like physics, didn't like any of that. So tell me, like, do you see a lot of that, and how do you guys try to help the students in this matter?
So yeah, in public ed, we definitely see that when kind of going back to the scenario that you had mentioned, a student wanting to go ahead and follow a track of engineering. Obviously, that takes in a lot of science and mathematics, and the student may not have the wherewithal, the will, or the want to go ahead and do that, but they find themselves more geared towards another subject. Let's just say the sciences, right? They're really strong in the sciences. They really want to go ahead and do something in that aspect. Well, then they can go ahead and navigate towards a field that's better for them. But keep in mind, today you're interested in one thing, and then tomorrow, well, hopefully they're interested in one thing with me, and then if they pursue that when they're in your level over at Houston Community College or otherwise, that's up to them. But I think no matter what, between the student, the parent, the counselors, and all the other teachers around them, I think we're all charged with gearing the opportunities and the affordabilities so they can go ahead and make the right decision for themselves. We want to go ahead and plan that out as best as we can to help them get into the field that they want to go to, within the timeline that's been identified, also saving a good amount of money, right? So whether they're on a Pell Grant, whether, God forbid, on a loan, or if they're paying out of their own money, or however they're doing it, we're able to go ahead and make sure that it's as effective all the way around as possible.
That's really interesting. And as I'm reflecting here, because I'm from Brazil, and in Brazil, we don't really have this sort of support. A lot of what we do, it's usually our parents trying to help us to figure out what we want to do. But I don't recall having a counselor, someone that would tell me, guide me through this process. So it's good to hear, the students have this benefit. And so let's move on to our last question. So while the students are, participating in career planning and study, are they allowed to work?
Well, we do have like co-op programs. Keep in mind, I'm public education, so we're talking high school students, and we go up to 17, 18 years old. So we do have those co-op programs where they can go to school and work, but obviously that's in coordination with the counselors in the College and Career Center and what they go ahead and point out. So whether it's like whether it's a retail program or something of that nature, they'll coordinate with their counselors and their teachers to do so. We do have those affordabilities and options available to our students.
Okay, that's great. That's awesome. Okay, Xavier, thank you so much for being here today. Now we're gonna move to Christina. Hi, Christina. How are Dr. Robson? I'm sorry, Dr. Harbison. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great too. So I have a few questions here. Since we were talking about like planning career, now like first to hear a little bit more about you. You're the HCC Director of Adult Education. So tell a little bit about the projects that you've been working on and the sort of things that you do to help the students.
Sure. Well, as Executive Director of Adult Education and Literacy, I oversee about $5 million in grant funding that comes to Houston Community College every year. And what we do with that funding is we take individuals that are roughly 18 and up, and we have the ability to put them through career programs, GED programs, teach them how to learn English, anything you can imagine that's not a degree. Really falls under that bucket or umbrella. And so we have a big, you might have seen it, it's called the Change Your Life for $20. That's my team because all of our programs are $20, and my team, we cover the rest of the cost of tuition, books, supplies with our grant funds. So we also have an adult high school for those that maybe didn't complete high school, or maybe they want to fast track their high school. So they can come to us and get high school classes, both original credit and recovery classes through my program as well. And then lastly, we have Career for You Academy, and Career for You Academy is 5 clusters. So healthcare, IT, construction, business, and transportation. So, you were talking about Tesla earlier. So transportation is another area. They need lots of diesel mechanics. So that falls under my umbrella as well. So anything that's a workforce certificate program, you can go through Career for You Academy and get one of those. And then we have a career navigator that works with you to put you to work.
Yeah, that's a great program. I actually had the chance to meet someone that did a $20 program, and he got the GED too. And it was really moving to hear his story, like someone that didn't have any education, didn't have any money. Once he got the opportunity, he actually graduated with honors, was able to get a job in this field and open his own company and, become a successful person. So that's really good to see that there is programs like this helping people in need. So, and still people that are going to find an excuse to not do it. You're offering like a course.
True.
And people so don't let those excuses let you, put you down. You have everything you need to start today. So let's talk a little bit about the fact that, with this whole situation with coronavirus, so there have been a large number of displaced works and students in the last 5 months. So what would you like to tell them?
Sure. Well, COVID-19 has thrust millions of us, both students and employees, into this working from home environment. We're either going to school at home or we're working from home. But obviously our economy is going to reopen, and CEOs are starting to look and think about what have we learned, what have we experienced, and then how are we going to compete and work in this kind of environment. Some cases, employers are saying we're just going to totally close down our face-to-face locations. We're going to go fully remote employees. Whereas others are saying, you know what, maybe we need a mix of that. So with that being said, employers are going to be looking for employees that have remote skills, because we don't know what that future looks like. We might reopen on Monday and be closed by Friday. So we need employees that can react quick, adapt quickly. So you were talking earlier about skills and digital literacy skills, like how to use Zoom, how to use WebEx, how to use MS Teams. They have become so critically important, even to interviews now. We don't do face-to-face interviews. We're Zoom interviewing and Zoom meetings. So with all of that, we just have to understand that that future workplace is going to look very different in the future. And so that means, you have to get those skills that reflect that new future.
Yeah, this is tough times and really challenged. Do you think it's hard for a person to get those skills necessary? Because a lot of people get scared, like, no, I cannot do that. I need to have hands-on. I can't do it from home. But the reality, like, this is taking longer than we expect. Right?
Well, I look at it this way, you're going to be at home either way. So you might as well learn how to log on to the computer, right? And the great thing is we've got students, we've got staff, we've got faculty, and they're willing to help you. So I recently had a call with a student because the student said, I don't think I can do an online class. And I was like, well, do you FaceTime your friends? Then you can do an online class. So, let's not wait until October. I mean, that's months away. You could almost be done by that time. But, it is a fear. And I think everybody has that fear because with online, it requires you to be more disciplined, right? You have to manage your time better. And it's really easy to let it get away from you really fast. I know recently I had a student, he's in actually an associate's program, and he's like, I've turned off all these assignments, and then I looked at my list and I realized I had like 10 more to do, but I thought I could do them all in 1 week. And so it's that planning, right? And now he's at the end and he's like, I don't know how I'm going to get this all done, but it's feasible to do, but you have to juggle a schedule. And that's where I think the difference between face-to-face and online is face-to-face sitting in that class sometimes is a little easier because you just have to show up. Whereas online, you have to make sure you're engaging the full time. So it is a challenge, but I mean, HCC has some amazing tools. Workforce Solutions has some amazing tools. So there's really no reason you can't go if you're willing to commit the time.
Yeah, I agree with you. So in that note, I think that people are gonna get used to it. It's just a matter. I think a lot of people have struggled to adapt, and that's with everything in life. People don't like change. That's the truth. We want it to be comfortable doing what we always do. And once we try to change that, things get, people get mad. I got mad a little bit in the beginning, but we gotta get used to it, or otherwise you're just gonna be suffering.
I wanted to add, we've been talking about online etiquette, right? Because now we're Zooming all the time. And so I'm like, you can't come to work in your PJs. I know you roll out of bed and you hop on a Zoom call, but you can't be in your PJs, please. But, it's a different environment. And we're doing FaceTime Fridays now, so we get to see everybody because so many people don't turn on the cameras. But how do we keep connected and engaged? So, online and remote, it's a new world for everyone.
Yeah, there it is, and we gotta accept it. Okay, Dr. Hobson, thank you so much for being here today. I think it was a really good talk, and
thank you.
Learned a lot from it. So now let's move on. What's going on now, Carolina?
Well, thank you, Dr. Robinson. Now we will move on into our last section, entertainment. So what shows are out, Caio, that you want to talk to us about?
Oh, today I'm going to talk about this show that I actually finished watching like in a month. It's a Community is the name, and it talks about a community college. The main actor is Jeff. So Jeff, it's a lawyer, but he works for a law firm, but he never actually graduated from the community college. So they find that out and send him back to school so he can get his certificate so he can go back to work. And over there's so many like funny students, and like each one has a different each one has a different characteristic, like the way they act, the way they talk to each other, and so funny. And it's short too. I think it's around 25 minutes, so it's perfect to watch before you go to bed because it's really funny. So I always like to have that laugh before going to bed, and it makes me feel great, and I just love it.
Caio, I want to recommend Old School. It's a movie from 2003. And starring by Will Ferrer, Luke Wilson, and Vince Vaughn, directed by Todd Phillips. If you really like the funny movies about the school years, this is the movie for you. So a group of friends, the adult friends, they have a lot of problems in their life. They have problems in their job, in their marriage, a lot of problems, and they miss their life in college. That's why they just create a fraternity next to the old university to enjoy the life again. Very good movie, very funny movie.
So talking on the topic of going back to school and see how we're gonna do, there's actually a movie from 1986 called Back to School. It's a little oldie one, you know, but it talks about a self-made millionaire. His name is Thornton Mellon. So his son is going off to college, but last minute he decides, Dad, I don't want to go to college. And he's like, what? You know, that's not, I want you to go to college. Like, I didn't get to do that, but I want you to go to college. So in order to show him that it's possible that he could go to college, he goes and puts himself into college, and he actually does well himself. Like, he's like the popular kid, but being, you know, like an older guy, he's like, you're doing all these stuff. So talks about all of that. So it's a great movie to take a look at.
I want to take a look at a movie called The Faculty. It came out in 1998. It's about a college where all these students are going, and it's actually this virus that's infecting various students, and it's actually an alien virus. So with the current COVID-19 thing going on right now, it's very similar to what we're kind of talking about, because certain students find out about it, but they don't know how to pursue it. So they got to decide that we got to go to school and try not to get infected and find out how to take care and eliminate this virus. I think it's a pretty good topic considered the matter of the subject. And it's rated R. It stars Elijah Wood, Josh Hartnett, R&B star Usher, and it's directed by Rodriguez, the director of the Desperado series. So I think that if you're into sci-fi and school stuff, you might like it. Again, it's rated R, so you've been warned.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Eric. So guys, that's the time of the day to say goodbye. First, I would like to thank you for watching. And one more thing, don't leave yet, stick to the end, because we have the funny video of the week or the meme, and people have been loving those. So stick to the end so you can check it out, okay? And again, thank you so much for watching, and I see you next time.
Also, don't forget to send us your opinion and send us topics that you would like to discuss with us. We'll see you on the next time on the Student Lounge.